Good evening. We're recording this meeting. Ben, I think you're muted.
You're muted.
All right, let's do that again. It's now 7:07, I think. I have a quorum. We'll call the meeting to order. First item, and before we do the roll call, thank you all for attending tonight. So the last meeting where we're going to have 7 members, and thank you, Amanda, for attending tonight. We'll have 7 members. Next meeting will be down to 5, and hopefully we'll have the full 5, and our incumbents get reappointed. All right, roll call. So Lauren?
Present.
Sinya?
Present.
Nina?
Present.
Amanda?
Present.
All right, thank you. Are any agenda changes, requests, or deletions? All right, thank you. And Nadia, do we have any oral communications? Anyone wanting to speak to the commission?
I see no attendees in the waiting room.
All right, thank you. And we have approval of the minutes of the last meeting, July 16th. We can have a motion to approve those minutes.
I move that we approve the meeting minutes from our July 16th meeting.
Thank you. Second?
I second the motion.
Thank you. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nay? Abstain. And we have 1 abstention. Thank you, Amanda. All right, Elise, staff comments.
Yes, thank you so much. So we have a few exciting things to announce. The Public Art Commission recruitment is moving forward. The council selected 4 candidates to interview for the 2 available slots. So we have our 2 incumbent commissioners who have been selected to interview, and 2 of the other 8 applicants were selected to interview. Last I checked with the clerk earlier today, there's not a firm date on interviews, but they're looking at 2 dates in late August, meaning that the determination would be made and new commissioners would be in place potentially the first week in September. So that's exciting news. The other piece we wanted to make sure the commission's aware of, if you haven't been to City Hall in the last week, I think Nadia's bringing it up. So this was the maquette for Paz de la Calzada's bucolic labyrinth. As you may recall, the piece is fabricated out of turf that was harvested from the Coverly soccer fields when those were replaced. So that was about a year ago that we harvested and cleaned that turf. Stored it, and then Paz was able to use one of the temporary studios at Coverly Artist Studios to actually fabricate and cut the piece. So it was installed last week. There's Paz, and congratulations to Nadia, who spearheaded this whole thing. And it looks really great. I also wanted to let the commission know that there is a QR code on the site where you can hear the artist actually walk you through how to walk a labyrinth. For anyone who hasn't done it before or this is new to them, it's kind of an interesting new aspect to our temporary project here. So we're really excited about it. We've already received a lot of really great positive feedback. And we're hopeful that members of the community will take the time to come have a moment of quiet and reflection and peace in the labyrinth, because I think we could all use it. The next item I just wanted to update the commission on is for Code Art 2, which of course was supposed to take place this October. We had a meeting, as you can see, with with most of our urban intervention teams. Not all of them were able to make it. In order to introduce them to one another, have them present their concept idea, and have an opportunity to get feedback, field questions from other artists, and or suggest creative solutions to some of the problems that they're having. We found out that several of them have met each other before. So there was a really fun dynamic there. So while we're hitting the pause button on Code Art 2, we were able to get all of them together. And I think they're all in communication now, collaborating, which is wonderful. The other piece, I think this is my last announcement, is the evening of September 10th at 6 p.m. We're going to be hosting a Black Lives Matter mural artist panel. So we invited the artists who participated in the mural projects to come together and talk about why this opportunity was important to them, what the movement means to them, and what is their call to action. So that's roughly the way it's shaping up. We've asked Chair Miyagi and Commissioner Taylor to take the lead on facilitating that conversation, and we'll have a confirmation on how many artists are going to participate in the next few days. So I think right now we have 5 or 6 confirmed, and that'll really help drive how we want to frame that conversation. So that'll be really exciting. And I told a little fib that wasn't my last announcement. So my last announcement is September 9th at 6 p.m. Barbara Goldstein and her associates will be having a public meeting on the CalAV master plan. So it's a final community meeting for those who may not have been comfortable logging in to co-urbanize, to call in, find out what they're seeing so far, and add their input for that master plan. So that week of September is going to be busy. And that's it for staff announcements.
All right, thank you, Elise, and please pass on to Brittany for help in getting the labyrinth in place.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the first action item we have is the collection care. And Elise?
So this is a maintenance item pertaining to the CalAV fountain by Mike Sabo called Confluence. And so I'm going to turn it over to Nadia.
Thank you, Lise. I hope everybody can see the screen with the image of the sculpture that I'm sharing currently. Okay, great. Thank you. So, so this action item is to request funding in the amount of $3,800 for the annual preventative treatment maintenance of Confluence by artist Mike Szabo. If you commissioners may recall, we've been treating the sculpture on more or less set schedule. So the last time the sculpture was treated in May 2019. And it was determined then that in order to keep the expenses low and treatment sort of not as aggressive, it makes sense. It was recommended by the artist to have the preventative treatment scheduled on an annual basis. So earlier, let me just walk you through the photos. We visited the sculpture on site, and compared to the previous year, it's in a pretty good shape. However, we did notice a few areas of chemical buildup and discoloration that would need to be addressed. So the artist provided a quote for us and the scope of the treatment that would include a detailed cleaning of the bronze surfaces from stains and oxidation, patina touch-ups and brightening, and as well adjusting of water flows. As you can see on this picture, some of the buildup causes the water flow, kind of changes the pattern, so that needs to be addressed. Also, it's worth adding that the artist will be actually meeting on site with the city's parks team, as well as the maintenance contractor who's in charge of adding, chlorinating all of the water features around the city. So we can determine the best ratio of chlorine added to this fountain. So sort of to slow down and minimize effects of chlorination in the bronze fountain, and just slow down the chemical buildup that we're observing. So let me know if you have any questions, please.
Elise, or not Elise, sorry, Nadia. How much money have we spent so far on restoration for this particular piece? I feel like we just restored
Yeah.
it. In the form
So
before.
in general, water sculptures are more expensive to maintain. I believe the quote for the previous year was, I think I need to go back to the numbers. It was slightly higher than the artist quoted this time around. So I want to say overall it was within probably $5,000 or $6,000 for all of the treatments throughout the course of the sculpture's lifespan so far, and it was commissioned. It was installed in 2014.
As I recall, Nadia, the last time we cleaned it, it was more expensive because more time had elapsed as well.
That's right. It was the first sort of in-depth cleaning in 3 years. So this time around, the quote is much lower.
Nadia, this is Sonia. So I guess my question is, when we reviewed this last year, the proposal, did they give us a preview for what this year's budget would be? And then also on a going forward basis, if this is an annual exercise, you know, do we kind of have a projection of, you know, what the ongoing cost would be?
Yeah, so the projection that the artist gave us actually correlates with the quote that he provided this year. And just because we do want to, you know, try and bring this you know, ongoing number down, you know, that's why we want to meet with the parks team and the clean, you know, the maintenance contractor to see if we can, you know, bring the expenses down by minimizing the effects of chlorine impacting the bronze sculpture. So our hope is that that adjustment will allow us to control the expenses in the future even further.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, to have a motion to approve the.
Can I just ask a quick question? What is our annual budget for restoration of this kind? Because I know we do have a budget for this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So annually we are allocated $30,000 to for the maintenance of the collection.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, we have a motion to approve this item.
I'll move to approve the funds for the maintenance of the Zabo fountain.
Thank you, Amanda. I have a second.
I second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Abstain? Thank you. The motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And the next item is a non-action item, and it's the annual retreat. Annalise?
Yes, thank you. So it's always an exciting time of year when we get to talk about the retreat because, you know, as you all recall, most of you have been through a few of these where we look at what all we have in process, what's on the calendar, and looking at CIP projects and what our budget allocation is for this fiscal year and which projects need to kick off. So it's always really, it's a fun time to get together with the commission to really brainstorm about what kind of direction we want to go within that framework of the public art master plan. I think in particular this year, of course, there's having a real focus on racial equity issues would be really important to look at the public art master plan, look at the way that those kinds of priorities might fit within our upcoming projects. We've also spoken to Elizabeth Foggy, and I'm not clear if this would work in with this retreat or be a separate session, but about having a session with the commission. So with that, we just wanted to open it up for input from the commission on what kinds of things might be helpful for staff to prepare as far as looking at best practices, at looking at what other cities are doing that we might have ready for you, and what topics of discussion would be important as well.
Hey, any comments? All right, well, I'll start off then. The Cal Ave master plan, is that a possibility for some discussion on that? And will they have had finished their input cycle on that and then start to formulate the report? Could we get maybe an interim report or something on that?
We can certainly look into that.
Okay. Okay, another item is the possible suspension of the percent for private and public art. One disturbing thing that I found, I spoke to Greg Tanaka a few weeks ago and I mentioned this to him and he had no idea what it was about. So,
What?
yeah, which I found very surprising since they had already discussed that item at one of their meetings. So I don't know if this is a education opportunity for us on the commission, for the council, because I know that some of the council members don't understand what the process is, and you know, a public art 101 or something like that to get the word out to them and how the cycle runs. I think one commissioner or one council member was complaining about the $700K for the public safety building, and she thought that money could go someplace else, but that money is already allocated, which they don't realize. So what's the process of allocating money and how does the public art process really run? And with the private development, that's really going to be a really sticky subject, because if the city's not contributing the money, it's the private developers. And if they suspend that project, what happens to that money? You know, to give it back would be a big debacle, I think. And then if the programs are really suspended, what happens to the public art staff? I know there will be some projects that need to get finished, but new projects will have nothing on the horizon. So what happens to the staff? And one thing that Elise and I discussed a little bit was about rewriting the position paper that we had on the reduction of the commission and rewriting that more towards public art, the percent for the percent ordinances, and write that. And we want, if we can formulate most of that at the retreat, and depends on when the retreat is, because I'm not sure. I think that item comes up in September sometime, the first reading of that item for the suspension of those programs. So we want to get out front of that and get something to the council to really let them know, because we've got a nationally recognized public art program. And thanks to Elise and Nadia, we have that program. So, you know, we need to do something to really get the word out about this program and what public art does for the community.
So Chair Miyagi, thank you for bringing up the percent for art suspension. That is scheduled to go to council September 21st for them to evaluate suspending the percent for art for up to 2 years, which was what they had proposed at the budget hearing. And so it will be important in the course of the retreat to have some more concrete formulated thoughts about what are the intentions, you know, for allocating these funds for percent for art. So that's usually something we do in September because it's right after the final budget amount is transferred. And the retreat's a great time to talk about how we budget. If it's a lean year in a future year, do we set aside some for that? What are the projects on the horizon and what do those budgets look like? So I think from a timing perspective, it's a great opportunity for the commission to have this discussion, have a retreat in, you know, maybe the second week of September, so that going into that, that council meeting, there's a pretty solid consensus of what those funds would go toward.
All right, thank you, Elise.
Mhm.
One quick aside, is there a joint meeting with the council planned at all? Or is that kind of gone by the wayside right now?
Interesting question. I would have to look back at the record of when we did one last. I guess it was probably, I have to look. I don't even want to guess because I might be wildly wrong. But usually we do it about every year to year and a half.
Yeah.
I believe we're still within that window. So normally we would be gearing up for one with them. But that's a good question. So I'll look into it.
Okay, thank you. Any
So
other
you put a point, I just want to add on to your point about just in general, I think there should be a better relationship. And you can agree to disagree on this, meaning the city, I think there should be a better relationship in terms of understanding what the Art Commission does to the City Council. And especially right now, since there hopefully will be some good new leaders who, not that we had really good leaders before, just different types of leaders who they're going to be, they're wanting to make a change for the city. And I think now's the time, if ever, to just kind of start from, so to speak, scratch and, you know, talk to them and tell them what we're about. Because I really feel like that's what's missing. And it's not just our commission. I've noticed other commissions are having the same challenges. But it's one of those things, we're all in this together. And I think you need every commission is valid to make our city a better city and a stronger city. And so I would love to see that, encourage that, how to work better with the city council.
Thank you, Neon. That's a good point. How many council members are up for election? Do we have an idea?
Oh, I can Google that.
So like 4 or 5?
I was thinking it was 4 because there's
Yeah.
quite a few running.
There are quite a few running.
Yeah.
I believe it's 4, but I would have to look into it. On another note, Nadia did just send me the date from the last joint meeting with council was September 2019.
So
Okay.
recent. I mean, within 12 months, right?
Okay, so we're within that window.
Elise, I don't know if the commission can actually endorse candidates, but not that I'm saying we should, but have any candidates actually reached out to you or Nadia about the commission and the work we do? And
No, and generally they would not.
No, I was, Greg Tanaka reached out to me for endorsement. You can endorse a council member. You can endorse them and you can use your title for informational purposes only. But again, it's like you can't speak for the commission, and it wouldn't be for the commission, but it would be informational is how you can use your title. And Nia, getting back to your point, I think that's just all part of advocacy of getting the council to understand what we do. And it's kind of a little side thing. I reached out to the chair of the Human Rights Commission to see if we could come up with some sort of a joint effort to talk to council about the reduction. And I called him twice and he was going to call me back and he never called me back. So I'm not sure what that was about or what's going on there. So, you know, I think, you know, you want to present a unified front, and I think that's a really good point. You know, as Benjamin Franklin said, we have to hang together, surely we'll hang separately. So, you know, we really need to provide a united front. Now, anything else about the retreat? Now, the other thing is dates. And the problem is I'm going to be out of town until the 8th of September. I don't know if we want to have it on a weekend or possibly a weekday in the afternoon or evening. So I guess we'll send around a doodle calendar and see what we can come up with for dates and times on that.
Generally, historically, we've done this on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
I'm just not clear in this current environment if people really don't want to get on their laptop on the weekend. If there is an opportunity to do it during the weekday, it's usually about a half day thing. It would be hard to stay on a Zoom meeting much more than that. So just of the commissioners who are here, and is there opportunity during any weekdays that could be a possibility, or should we strictly be looking at weekends?
So if I'm understanding correctly, that technically, since my term is ending, I think it ends, like today is the last meeting, right? Until I get, yes? Okay, so.
You would be interviewed and, if selected, reappointed by this date. So it would be great to have.
I was going to say it should be after the newly appointed or reappointed.
Are you available on weekends at all? I'm pretty flexible, but what about you, Nia and Cinya?
I am flexible.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
So you can do weekends or mornings of the weekday?
Yeah.
Evenings, okay.
Yes. But not Friday, September 18th, because that's Rosh Hashanah, the first night.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Yes, and there's, I think it's the Monday is Yom Kippur or something like that. So.
Okay. All right, so it looks like we have some flexibility, which is good. So that doodle calendar will come out, and let's see if we can come up with a date. And I believe it will be 5 now on that for that retreat. It will be the 3 remaining, which will be Ian, Lauren, and myself, and then the 2 new appointees. And we hope that it's the incumbents, so we can move forward. Okay, any other comments or anything about the retreat? Any items, anything else that you'd like to talk about? Any discussion items?
I just wanted to pipe in that I would just like to pipe in that I think that the programming at City Hall is just so fantastic. And I think that if I can offer what I think the priorities are, I think definitely the CalAV master plan, and definitely, you know, a lot of the other projects we talked about in terms of underrepresented neighborhoods in the city needing public art. But I really feel like just following social media, being in town, swinging around on bicycles now that, like, you know, lots of streets are closed and there's lots of foot traffic. It's really nice to look and see and look forward to what's happening at City Hall. And it just gets better and better and better. So if I could leave you with the sentiment, please don't forget that it's a huge, wonderful gift. And just the fact that there's programming there, and that it's always something to look forward to, and it's always impactful. And I'm not saying that it needs to be like the most expensive art, but it's just this like sense of place, and we're needing that more than ever. So I would just leave you with that as my last thought.
Thank you, Amanda.
Sure.
Thank you very much. Anything else on the retreat? All right, so we'll get the doodle calendar, we'll go out and we'll get some dates and times, and then we'll move forward from there. Okay, anything else on that? All right, so now into announcements. And I want to thank Amanda for your service to the commission. It's been 9 years. And you've been vice chair. Thank you very much. You've made some really, really good input and thoughts about the commission. And I just wish you well. And it's been an honor serving with you. Thank you.
Likewise, and thank you. The honor is all mine. It's a wonderful, it's been such a personally fulfilling and culturally fulfilling time. And I'm so proud, and I'm so grateful. And Elise, it just keeps getting better and better and better. And as I was telling Nadia prior to the meeting, like, I always thought that I would stay on as long as it was staying interesting and getting better. It's like, is the wrong word, but, you know, just qualitatively fulfilling all the way around. And I've met such wonderful people, and it's been so great. I'm so humbled, and it's going to be a sad next 4th Thursday of the month when I'm thinking of all of you, you know, on Zoom, but it's a pleasure. And I hope to not see you around.
Yeah, drop in.
You're always welcome to attend. Yeah.
Keep Yeah.
Yes, we would love that. And
Um,
I just really enjoyed working with you. Thank you for being on the commission for 9 years, and you just had so many thoughtful, intelligent, creative things to add, and I appreciate it. I've learned a lot from you, so thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure working with you, Amanda.
Total pleasure. Total pleasure. And fight for that budget.
I know. I do think that retreat is going to be a great time for all of us to get educated on what our budget is, where the 1% come from, and how we use that money. And so we can speak so easily and advocate for that after getting reacquainted with our flow of money, where it comes from and why, right? And why we need it. So it's good. And I think with the Black Lives Matters mural, and now with the consultant coming in, having some really good, thoughtful discussions about how racial equality can be represented in the public art of Palo Alto, that's going to be an important discussion too. So I'm looking forward to the retreat.
Okay, thank you, Lauren. Amanda, wish you all the best.
And to you all.
Thank you, Amanda.
Yeah, thank you, Amanda.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay, any other announcements?
I do have a brief announcement. I just wanted to make sure that the commission's aware of. On the council agenda on Monday, Chair Miyagi, you made reference to the HRC, and they've been extremely busy hosting a number of public events and roundtables and soliciting input, including the panels on 8 Can't Wait and listening sessions. And so on Monday, there is a report coming back to the City Council on all the items related to racial equity that the city has taken on and intends to take on from here moving forward. I would recommend that the commissioners either, call in on Monday or listen in on Monday, or be sure to follow up and listen in on that prior to the retreat, because it would be helpful to set an overarching framework for the work that the Public Art Program and the Commission intends to take on as well.
That's a good point. Very good point. Thank you. Hey, anything else? Hey, next meeting is September, whatever that date is.
17th.
Yes, 17th.
September 17th, okay. I believe it'll be another Zoom meeting. And hopefully we'll have the retreat before that, or just before that. So anything else from anybody have any other input? Okay, well, thank you all very much. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We'll miss you, Amanda.
Good night.
Miss
Thank
you
you.
guys.
Hi, Amanda.
Bye, Amanda.
Stay safe, everybody.
Thank you.
Stay safe, everybody.
Bye. Good night.
Great to see y'all.
Nice to
Good
Yeah,
night.
nice to see you.